You're still watching The Breakfast Show on Night TV International, coming to you live from Cairo. And it's time for our daily press review of the local news, and we start with Al-Ahram newspaper, and we read from Al-Ahram. President Sisi directed the government to develop and automate the system of sales and stores of strategic commodities across the country as part of the state's approach towards applying digital transformation and promoting good governance. Sisi's directives came during his meeting on Tuesday with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Supply and Internal Trade Ali Al-Masalhi. The President also instructed the government to exert its utmost to provide basic commodities for citizens and make them available at supply outlets across the nation. The Supply Minister briefed President Sisi on his ministry plan for converting bakeries nationwide to run on natural gas instead of gasoline, in cooperation with the Arab Organization for Industrialization and the bodies concerned. And still with Al-Ahram newspaper, we read from the paper, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry traveled on Tuesday to Germany to attend the second Berlin conference, a new round of peace talks on Libya, which is slated for Wednesday. Shoukry will affirm during the United Nations-backed event Cairo's steadfast dancing aiming for protecting Libya's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity, as well as fulfilling aspirations of the Libyan people for a better future. He will reiterate support for the Libyan-led comprehensive political process to end the conflict in the North African country. The top diplomat will also call for the withdrawal of all foreign forces and mercenaries from the Libyan territories and holding the general elections on December 24th as scheduled. And moving to Akhbar al-Yom newspaper, and we read from Akhbar al-Yom, Irrigation Minister Mohammed Abdelati has reaffirmed Cairo's keenness to confirm or rather to continue negotiations on the disputed Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, with the aim of reaching a fair and binding deal that fulfills the interest of all parties involved. Minister Abdelati emphasized Egypt's fundamental interests in the decade-old issue, which he said are based on preserving the country's water rights and achieving benefits for Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia. The meetings were attended by South Sudanese Vice President Riek Machar and Irrigation Minister Peter, among others. Minister Abdelati arrived in Juba on Monday along with an official delegation for a 5-day visit to hold talks on promoting bilateral cooperation, including in the field of water management. During Tuesday's meeting, the Egyptian delegation addressed the progress of several joint development projects in water resource fields, as well as agreed on future steps to implement other proposed development projects aimed at raising the living standards of the people of South Sudan. Abdelati said the ministry is implementing a project across 7 Sudanese states, with 3 more states expected to be included in the ministry's projects. And moving to Al-Masri al-Yom newspaper, we read from Al-Masri al-Yom, the new Urban Communities Authority has allocated 25 billion Egyptian pounds for new Al-Alamein city projects during fiscal year 2021 and 2022, which will start in July. The Deputy Minister of Housing for National Projects, Khalid Abbas, said that the cost of the new towers, which is being implemented with a Chinese company, the CSCEC, amounts to 30 billion Egyptian pounds. He said that the ministry is accelerating its pace to complete the first phase of new Al-Alamein city developmental project, adding that in the coming months the ministry will lay the foundations for the new projects. Abbas' statement came on the sidelines of a tour organized by the ministry in New Al-Alamein city on Saturday, which saw the laying of the foundation stone for 5 new towers in the downtown area. The new Al Alamein city is being built on an area of 49,000 acres and is one of the fourth-generation cities launched by the Housing Ministry in the past years. According to statements by Housing Minister Asim Al-Ghazar, the volume of spending on new Al Alamein city has so far reached more than 65 billion Egyptian pounds. And still with Al-Masri Al-Yawm, we read from the same newspaper, Al-Masri Al-Yawm, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced Tuesday that St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, the SPIEF, has chosen Egypt to be the guest country in the 25th edition, marking the Silver Jubilee in 2022. The announcement was made following a meeting by Ambassador to Moscow Ihab Nasr and advisor to Russian President Anton Kobyakov. The selection of Egypt is an outcome of the ratification of the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement between both countries by President Sisi in January 2021. The agreement was signed in 2018 during a visit by President Vladimir Putin to Egypt. The participation of Egypt in that edition will pave the way for further cooperation in the fields of trade and investment, given the distinguished activities to be held and the attendance of the presidents of both countries. And moving to Shoow newspaper, we read from Shoow, the Ministry of International Cooperation and its Egypt ventures under the auspices of the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli are due to launch the Generation Next Forum on Saturday. Holding the forum is an effort that aims to build knowledge of the economy, increase competitiveness and resilience, and enhance Egypt's position as a regional hub for startups, according to Minister of International Cooperation, Dr. Rania Nashat. Generation Next also aims to invest in the future, thus highlighting Egypt's government's commitment to boosting entrepreneurship and investing in startups. The event highlights the key role of the entrepreneurial scene in stimulating the Egyptian economy, which in turn creates competitiveness and catalyzes GDP growth through direct and indirect investments. Over 400 representatives from a community of entrepreneurs, innovators and startups alongside multilateral and bilateral development partners are expected to attend the forum. And we move to Akhbar Al-Yawm newspaper, where we read from Akhbar Al-Yawm, Minister of Trade and Industry Naveen Gamar met with Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Khalid Al-Anani on Tuesday to discuss the recent updates on the preparations for Egypt's participation in Expo Dubai, which is scheduled on October the 1st and will last over 6 months. Minister Gamar stated that Egypt will be represented as a marketplace investment destination in the MENA region based on the mega national projects it executes, particularly in the infrastructure field and the procedures it applies to attract foreign investments to the domestic market. Gamar also said that Egypt's booth in Expo Dubai is located in the Opportunity Zone next to the United Arab Emirates booth, which is the best zone in the Expo and reflects the prominence that the country has. On his side, Al-Anani said that the pictures, backgrounds and murals that will be presented in Expo Dubai will show the efforts made by ancient Egyptians in the fields of construction, industry and crafts, and will reflect the Egyptian identity as well. Moving to Shoow newspaper, we read from Shoow, Minister of Planning and Economic Development Hala Saeed said on Tuesday the Egyptian government seeks to increase the contribution of the agriculture sector GDP to reach 12% by 2024 and agriculture production 30% by the year 2024. Addressing a high-level dialogue on food security in the Middle East region via video conference, the minister said boosting the agriculture sector would help create new job opportunities and increase the income of junior farmers. The dialogue is being organized by the World Bank within a series of the annual meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group. Egypt did not witness food scarcity or shortage in the strategic crops during the coronavirus period, and at the same time it managed to protect food security for low-income brackets. Moving to Al-Mail newspaper, and we read from Al-Mail: the Central Bank of Egypt, the CBE, revealed that banks operating in Egypt achieved net profits of 29.991 billion Egyptian pounds during the first quarter of 2021, and that the net income from the return amounted to 94.4 billion Egyptian pounds. The CBE's data indicated that the activities revenues amounted to 117.296 billion during the first three months of 2021, while total expenditure recorded about 87.305 billion Egyptian pounds. The sector's assets at the end of last March recorded about 7.554 trillion, and banks' investments in treasury bills amounted to about 2.838 trillion, and balances with Egyptian banks recorded about 1.066 trillion Egyptian pounds, while balances with banks abroad amounted to about 335.934 billion Egyptian pounds, and lending and discount balances to customers 2.648 trillion Egyptian pounds. We leave Al-Mal newspaper to Al-Masri Al-Yawm newspaper and a look on the weather. Meteorologists predict hot weather on Wednesday during the daytime over Greater Cairo and Lower Egypt, with moderate weather expected on the northern coast, hot on South Sinai and northern Upper Egypt, and very hot on southern Upper Egypt. The weather will be mild by nightfall over Greater Cairo, Lower Egypt, northern coasts and northern Upper Egypt, while moderate on South Sinai and southern Upper Egypt. And now we read the maximum expected temperatures for today. Alexandria 30 degrees, Cairo 36 degrees, Sharm el-Sheikh Hurghada 38 degrees, Qina 40 degrees, Luxor 41 degrees, and Aswan 42 degrees. That ends our press review for this morning. A review of the local newspapers comes to you from Cairo on Night TV International, live from Cairo, Egypt. I'm Nusreen Bhar.